Alright, you probably saw the short Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot review version, and now I'm going to get into a little more detail with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot, so there will probably be spoilers. I'll be as vague as humanly possible because I wouldn't dream of ruining this show for you, and I know it's a little unfair to people who obviously can't see it till September. But for those of you, okay, I think I'm gonna sneeze. I was wrong. For those of you who really can't wait anymore and want the whole pilot spoiled for you, I'll get into a little more detail at the end of it. But for now, I'm gonna get into some more detail. Pilot, amazing. One of the best pilots I've ever seen. I hope it goes down in history as one of the best pilots ever. It's that good. Everyone was just on their feet cheering. They loved every second of it. They were roaring at the jokes or cheering at the action scenes every time a character got their hero moment. They're cheering at the cameos, a couple cameos, including I don't think this is a secret because they already posted it on Facebook. Agent Hill is in the pilot. Kobe Smulders is in the pilot, which I and a lot of other people called. Nonetheless, it was pretty good. There's a cameo from a certain Firefly alum. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I can say. Which again, a lot of people appreciate. I think hardcore Joss fans will have a lot to enjoy in this movie. And there was even a joke that was specifically tailored to the Comic-Con crowd. It was something along the lines of, I hope you're not one of those hopeless geeks that dresses up for conventions and stuff like that. Half the audience was laughing, half the audience was like, come on. It's a thinly veiled shot at the Comic-Con crowd. Nonetheless, I probably won't have the biggest impact when people see it on TV, but nonetheless, either way. But plot-wise, pretty standard fare. It's just basically the Marvel version of a procedural show. And I'm a huge fan of procedural shows with a twist and do something really new in the procedural show, which is why I like Fringe, the first few seasons of Fringe anyway. And this is probably the pinnacle when it comes to procedural shows with a twist. This is as good as it gets. And I think what you have to understand about this pilot is that, like all pilots, it's an introduction. For most of the pilot is introducing the characters, who they are, or what they do, what the backstory is, and it's a little vague on some parts, but we'll get to that later. And I did not mind that for two reasons. One, for the most part, there were characters we have not seen before. We haven't seen Agent May or Agent Ward or Fitzsimmons or all these people, so it was a new thing. You were into the characters, which brings me into number two. The characters were well written, well acted, look great. I think they got the most. You'd think it was a CW show because they got the most gorgeous people alive to play all these people. And if they're well written, they're likable. I think the highlights for me were Chloe Bennett as Skye. She probably gets the most to do in the pilot, and it's gonna be really fun seeing her work. Actually, I can't say. It's gonna be really fun seeing her in the rest of the show. Let's just say that. And the other one is Fitzsimmons, obviously. They're probably the biggest people are really excited to see them, and they do not disappoint. They don't get a lot to do in the pilot, but I guess they make an impression, definitely. And that's probably what the rest of the show is for. Simmons actually kind of reminds me of a British Kaylee from Firefly, because she's very perky and very upbeat, and I do like that about her. Because, like I said, it does remind me a lot of Kaylee, and who doesn't love Kaylee? And there's a lot of cool action scenes in it. Early on, there's a really cool, pretty brutal fight scene, which a lot of people said is the Bourne movies, the Jason Bourne movies fight scenes. And Joss Whedon directed the pilot, and it's very well directed, very well done. The pilot it looks great. And there's a lot of Marvel references. If you're a hardcore Marvel nerd, there's a lot to enjoy in this pilot, and you are gonna love it. People are cheering at some of the references, and it's not forced. It's not like in Transformers when they say more than meets the eye in the dialogue, and oh come on, you couldn't. It was natural references. They found a really clever way to squeeze it into the dialogue. They do a really clever Iron Man 3 reference. That's all I can say there. And the whole show is just really clever. It's really well done. It was like I said, it's just exactly what you want it to be. It's the TV version of the Avengers, which is really, really cool. So I give the pilot a 10 out of 10. It was that good, and it just makes me. They said wait till you see episode 2, and I cannot wait for that. This is gonna be just really good. And if 5,000 people had this amazing reaction to the pilot, imagine what the ratings for the first episode are gonna be like. Honestly. So, spoiler-wise, I'm getting into some minor spoilery stuff. So, bail out now. If you really want it spoiled for you, I won't stop you. I can absolutely understand that. But I will say, like, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna wonder, like, the reason why Coulson is back. They in the pilot they give you a blink and you'll miss it explanation, which I think was released like on an article about a couple months before Comic-Con. And then after Coulson leaves, like this one guy says to Agent Hill, he really doesn't know, does he? And Agent Hill says he can never know. That's it. That's all. That's the last they ever discuss of it. So there's definitely more than meets the eye when it comes to that. There we go, another Transformers reference. That's like a record. But there's definitely like some deeper layers when it comes to Coulson's resurrection, or resurrection I should say. But like they said, they're gonna tease it out and drag it out and just like build it up. The same goes for Agent Melinda May, played by Ming Na, who played Mulan, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they hint that she has a past, but they're not going to get too much into that. And there's a couple of characters they don't get too much into, like I said, mainly Fitzsimmons. And I assume like they're going to have a lot to do in the future episodes. And J. August Richards, who is the Man of Mystery, you've probably seen the ads. He's not Luke Cage. They said his name. The name sounded very, very familiar to me. Mike Peterson. Sounds like a Marvel character, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what this character is. So someone should, if you know the character, post in the comments and put the spoiler tag or something. But for the most part, like actually for the whole part, this was an amazing pilot, and I cannot wait to see more. And Lola does something really cool. That's all I can say. And it's like, there are a couple unanswered questions, but I guess that's what the rest of the series is for. It's not like Fringe or Lost, where it's just like, oh my god, they're never going to answer it. I would assume they're going to answer some of this stuff, or just tease it out, give them a lot of story from future episodes, because it just got picked up. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., phenomenal. You are going to love it. It is one of the best pilots of all time, hopefully. And the ratings are going to be sick. I'm probably going to have like a viewing party in my dorm at college when the pilot actually airs. And Frenzy 227 is out.